guys, and welcome back this week to the GuildMag podcast, episode 56. I am Sandra, aka Miko, and I'm here today with Aaron.
I've done 56 of these things.
I know. Well, we came in at around, I think, episode 30, 28 or so, somewhere around there.
I think it was, I want to say it was 29.
Okay. Here we
So
go.
we've done nearly half of these with us.
And with us. And before that, they had another podcast called Dynamically Spoken. So GuildMag's been doing podcasts forever.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing, Aaron?
Pretty good. I did a bunch of Caudicus's Manor this week because on my stream on Monday we decided that I needed a new outfit, and it involved 2 pieces of Caudicus armor that I don't have. So I had to do 5 Caudicus dungeon runs this week. So that was my week in Guild Wars 2.
Did you get all of your tokens that you needed?
I did. I finished the runs literally this morning before the podcast.
Fantastic.
Yep.
That is a dungeon that I've run a couple of times. I still think I need like one path to complete it.
It's an obnoxious dungeon.
It really is.
It's one of my least favorites.
I think it's the house that trying to find.
I always get lost
around
in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always get lost in the house, and there's this part in Path 2 where you have to set these explosive barrels. That's just Path 2 is just awful. Like the whole thing is just terrible.
Yeah, it's not. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, I'm glad that you got your armor pieces, though. I saw your Fashion Wars streaming out since you were avoiding Claw Island.
Yeah, I hate that part of the personal story so much. I'll slog through it next week.
All right. Well, I have been in and out of game intermittently this week just because my computer issues. Like last week I didn't stream because of the Windows 10 installation on this computer needed to be fixed. So I fixed it over the weekend, but it actually broke it more. So I fixed it again last night.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And so I have very little on the computer now, like XSplit, and that's it. And I'll have to be reinstalling things as the day progresses. So I hope to get back in game soon.
Uninstalling stuff is the worst.
It's so annoying.
It is. I can't do that. I would have given up.
I know. I was like, if this doesn't take this time, that's it. I'm just going to take it in to a computer shop and they can fix it because I'm sick of this. But anyways.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're back. So, hey. So we're going to be talking about Ring of Fire. I feel like we've been talking about Ring of Fire all week just because we did the other stream the other night where we did a little nostalgia throwback into Ring of Fire. So we'll be talking about this week and pretty much Ring of Fire and more Ring of Fire.
I mean, that's like you could find other little ooh, this is a fun thing to talk about. It's like no, everything is eclipsed by Ring of Fire. This week.
I know.
That's everything for the next 2 weeks.
For the Guild Wars 1 players and nerds out there, we love this place. It's so cool. Anyways.
Yeah.
So let's kick off with our gem store news for the week. Kind of brief. We've got the Dragon, Dagger skin for 600 gems. Another Guild Wars 1 skin.
Yeah, what do you think of... I'm curious, what do you think of the Dragon Commas?
So when I saw the description that it leaves a green trail behind, and I was like, oh, so that must look like the Marjorie's dagger skin. But it's different enough in color and I guess transparency is the word, that it's not an exact copy. But the daggers themselves, I don't remember the commas having that shape. They kind of look like little hatchets.
No, that's definitely what a comma is. It's this sickle-like thing. So they look right, but I hate them. And I'm wondering if you can guess why I hate them.
Are they not dagger enough for you?
They're upside down.
They're upside down?
Yeah, your character's not holding them correctly.
Oh, get out.
You should be holding them the other way around.
So that it's basically handle and then the sickle down here.
You should be holding the sickle side out in front of you. That's
Okay.
true. I actually looked it up before the show started to make sure I wasn't an idiot. No, that's the right way to hold commas is with the sickle end
Did
out
they
in
get it
front.
right in Guild Wars 1?
They did, yeah.
So maybe
In
it's
Guild
just
Wars
an
1, you hold them
orientation
right.
thing. Maybe they'll
It,
fix it.
in my opinion, it's showing. It's a really bad case of showing the limitations of the engine.
Mm,
Because they would have, since it was implemented correctly in Guild Wars 1, I feel like they wouldn't have implemented it this way unless there was like they couldn't find a workaround at all.
right.
So they literally have, and I know why they did it too. It's because of the way the attack animations work.
Mm-hmm.
All the dagger attack animations are done with the business end coming out behind you.
Right.
So that's why that's the way it is, and I think they look awful as a result.
But if you don't have that weapons knowledge, if you didn't have that weapons knowledge, could you live with it?
No, I'm not a fan of. I would. I mean, they would be cool if you were holding them the right way. But even if I didn't know the right way to hold these, look like just at a glance, that's like that just doesn't look okay.
Well, to me, when I saw the video that Delphi put up on her site, it just looked like little hatchets to me. And I'm going, I don't remember the commas all that well from Guild Wars 1, but we're going to roll because I know that whatever, it'll work. You're not going to really see it unless you're like zoomed in really close to your character whilst you're attacking.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get behind these guys.
You can't handle it.
Guys, don't buy these. Okay, just don't spend your money on this.
Buy them. I'm just kidding. But yeah,
Please
so
don't.
that's available for 600 gems in the gem store, and they've got a bunch of things that have come back for back to school sale.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of like, ooh, get your thing. So definitely go check out the gem store sales, guys.
Yeah, they're rotating things still. Returning items that are on a discount were the Home Portal Stone, the How to Dance Volume 1. I still want to know if we're ever going to get Volume 2.
I know, right?
And the Mad Scientist's Gathering Tools and Outfit.
Yeah, go spend your gems on the Mad Scientist outfit. It's worth much more than the commas.
You think so?
Yeah, the Mad Scientist outfit is one of the best looking outfits.
I can't remember what it looks like. And
it's
since
like
I can't check in game.
I mean, it's trench coaty, so if you're sick of that, then maybe not. But it's like the textures and details on it are really well done.
Wow. So, yeah. Those are only going to be available for a few days more. So go check those out if you are interested in picking up some more gem store things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So our news is really, really quick this week. I know basically it's the community going, oh my god, we're going back to Ring of Fire. Everyone is super hyped excited.
Yeah, more or less.
So other game news before we get into our Ring of Fire stuff is that Friday, which is tomorrow, skirmishes are coming to World vs. World.
Yes.
So it's
the
basically
skirmishes.
You want to explain it a little bit?
I'm not too familiar with it because I read the article, but I didn't really analyze it that much. But I guess what it is instead of getting scored on 10-minute ticks, we're scored on 2-hour intervals now, and then and what the 2-hour interval is referred to is a skirmish. I have my phone on silent.
Yeah,
fantastic.
That's
Got
okay.
a little fun little buzz.
That's all right.
But yeah, so now we're basically getting scored every 2 hours instead of every 10. But inside the 2 hours, I think the 10-minute or the 5-minute ticks are still a thing. So it's kind of a ticking system within a ticking system now, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But where the winner of the skirmish gets 3 points, and then the second place gets 2, and the winner gets 3, and both the losing teams get 1, or is it 3-2-1?
Let's find out, man.
I want to say it's 3-2-1. I want to say the winner gets 3, second place gets 2, and the loser gets 1.
And second place gets 2, and the third place gets 1. So 3-2-1.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because they wanted the point scoring in WW to allow a little more leeway for people who are behind to catch up, and fewer points being allocated at any given time promotes that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about it yet because I haven't seen its implementation.
Right.
But I would have more to say about it next week. But I'm interested to see how it pans out.
Yeah. So all right. So that's your homework for the weekend.
Yeah, I might jump in and help with a skirmish.
Maybe
I'll jump in at the very start of one and play for the full 2 hours and see what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting way to change up the scoring and make it a bit more meaningful. So I know that I'm on a small server, or smallish, Darkhaven. We had a good base of World versus World guilds, and I'm not sure where they disappeared to. But so I don't go in all that often, but I know that when we go in now, it's like they're always kind of on the losing end of things. So it would be neat to see if this helps kind of just rebalance and make the smaller servers feel like, hey, you know what, this feels more meaningful again.
I mean, I don't know that will be the case because it's still like, it doesn't change the fact that, you know, the big bad servers are going to win. But what it does change is it allows you to, if a group of people on your server really care and they really want it that bad, there's a chance for you to pull back in the last half of the week's matchup. So yeah. Whereas before you could just build up like a 200,000 point lead and it was never going to happen.
Right.
So this way is definitely allows for more comebacks than the current system does.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to take off. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then if you've been following the current events to shift into our PvP stuff, if you've been doing the Tremors in the North thing following Says, did we ever decide on a pronunciation for her name?
I think we decided to say Says.
Size.
Because it's weird to name a character Size.
You know, I was wondering if they did it for Seismic.
Oh, wow, I didn't even think about that.
That's what I was thinking.
That's all like almost 100%. That's almost 100% why they did it. I'm pretty sure now that you've said that. This is like very obvious now.
Yeah, so she's been trekking down in a south westerly direction from Frostgorge to Snowden to Lornar's Pass, which is actually where I got stuck because that whole clipping into the ground issue that we talked about last show, it's a real pain in Lornar's with all the terrain changes.
Oh man.
So when I was in game earlier this week, I kind of was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna log out because I'm feeling my frustration level going up. And then now she's in Bloodtide Coast, and it looks like she's heading towards South Sun.
Oh.
As the last map.
Where could this southwesterly route culminate in, Sandra?
I think we're going to the sea, man.
It's just gonna end there. It's just, we went to the ocean. I guess this is over.
Jump in the water. Underwater combat. What? No, let's go hop on some ships. No, but I found her. If you go onto the wiki and you Google her up, or on Size Burnt Heart, her dialogue is she's thinking that it's Primordius moving underground.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, your character thinks that, and she's like, "Well, we don't know yet, but something big is moving."
Mm-hmm. And they're talking about, because what she specifically says, it's either her or the player character says the last time a dragon relocated, it left the brand all through Ascalon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering if, because I think where they're going with that statement is probably Primordius relocating to the Ring of Fire, right? Because the devs probably realized, oh, holy crap, we want to have this Primordius fight in a fiery land, right? So that was the easiest way to do that without having to construct an underground map.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that happening.
So remember we were talking about those theories that were coming around on the community on Reddit. There was one that people were saying, oh, maybe the Mount Maelstrom will drain because that's a volcano. But there are at least 3 volcanoes on the Ring of Fire?
There are dozens, as far as I'm aware,
And
of active volcanoes in that chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's very...
The largest of which is Abaddon's Mouth.
So, yeah, it's very magma-centric.
Yeah.
So it would be cool. I don't know. What do
It's kind of the perfect staging area for a fight with Primordius. Just aesthetically, it fits his theme perfectly. So I don't know why he'd be gravitating there other than the Bloodstones, because we seem to be having a Bloodstone theme in Living World Season 3, and there's a Bloodstone chunk in the caldera of the volcano called Abaddon's Mouth and the Ring of Fire. So that would make, I guess, if Primordius is interested in the Bloodstone magic, that would be a good reason for him to go there. Because I don't think he would just go there to be like, hey, I'm fire, and that's fire. We should be fire together.
Right.
Like, I don't think that's really that much of a motivator.
Yeah.
But so I think it's got to be because of the Bloodstone magic there, or maybe there's another ley line hub there.
Well, speaking of ley lines, we know that from the articles that came out on MMORPG and Massively OP, that ley line, and we're talking features now. The ley line mastery was recommended to be trained in a couple of these articles. So if ley line gliding is going to be a thing, and there's a Bloodstone there, and we know what happened to the Bloodstone and Bloodstone Fen and how magic went crazy.
Well, the explosion in Bloodstone Fen was due to that creepy ritual the White Mantle pulled off.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that we're going to get treated to another nuclear Bloodstone explosion.
I think doing that twice in one season would be a bit much.
It'd be a bit corny.
Yeah.
That would be a bit anime. But I think you can, because obviously they said, hey guys, train your gliding up. So obviously there's going to be more ley line gliding. Mm-hmm. I'd be willing to bet there will be another underground-ish ley line hub. And like they've talked about, I don't know if we mentioned this yet, but that new, the second tier in the Ancient Magic Mastery line, the thermal propulsion.
Thermal propulsion, yes. It sounds very propulsive.
It seems very fitting with this island, with the Ring of Fire Islands, because everything is there's a lot of thermal hotspots here, right? Mm-hmm. It's a pretty fiery place, guys. So that makes a lot of sense.
So I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. I think I put it in this window here. That is the Ring of Fire Islands. This is actually taken from the Guild Wars 1 world map. In Guild Wars 2, obviously we can't see the islands all that clearly yet, because the map is still blurred. But I know that Wooden Potatoes, in his video that he put out earlier this week, it seems to be that the islands have shifted a bit southwestish.
It says on the wiki, it states explicitly on the wiki that the Zaitan's Rising shifted the islands quite a bit. They're very different now. So,
if we're thinking that they got shifted because of Zaitan, how much? I'm just thinking of how volcanic islands are formed naturally.
I don't know how geologically accurate the Guild Wars lore is.
Right, yeah, I know. I'm kind of going, I wonder how they're going to play with that.
I don't want to disappoint you, but I don't know that they're going to be getting into sedimentary analysis and stuff in the Living World episode.
Generally, if you're familiar with the Hawaiian Islands at all, there's some sort of vent that kind of percolates up from the ground. It's a volcano, and as it explodes, rock forms and you get islands. But
they could go as far as to say with all these Elder Dragons rising, there was tectonic plate shifts, and you could go really deep into geology with all that stuff. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I took Geology 101. Okay, that's my only knowledge is that tectonic plates are a thing. But they could That would be interesting if they did that, but I think it would go over a lot of players' heads, and they'd be like, "Wait, what are we talking about
Right.
here?"
Yeah. Yeah, that would be
But
cool to like put in. Is
I'd like
like
to walk past some researching Asura who are talking like really deep geology stuff,
yes,
and we're just like, "What?"
exactly.
That would be great.
That would be good flavor for the map.
Yeah.
I think. So other features that are coming to this map, we talked about thermal propulsion, and that it's supposed to be. They're kind of making the similarity that it's somewhat like the new Hawk Wallow system, which is a little weird, because that's basically just like the Scrit tunnels in Silver Waste, where you just kind of like interact, press F and you jump to a different place.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to be shooting across the sky rather than being on a load screen. But that's just me.
That could have a lot of. It's a lot easier and quicker and less messy to program if you just have people teleport.
Mm-hmm.
If we have all these players shooting across the map through the air at once at really high speeds,
it would be funny.
It would be funny, but it could also really mess with like frame rates and latency and stuff.
I know. So you're thinking of all of like the practical things, and I'm just like, I just want to fly.
Yeah, from a technical standpoint, it's probably just going to be a teleport.
I know.
But they've amazed us before with things. So
this is true.
Yeah.
This is true. So I'll be interested to see.
A lot of people are angry because they're like, "Oh, you just rehash New Hawk Wallows," but it's like there's no reason for New Hawk Wallows to work in Ring of Fire. Like that doesn't make any sense. So I think it's perfectly valid to make a new mastery that achieves the same purpose in a different area, because the masteries are supposed to. That's how the masteries are supposed to fit into lore.
Right.
Because they're supposed to apply to certain areas. And sorry, guys, there's no Hylic on the Ring of Fire. Like, there's not going to be any Wallows there.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense that we would have to retrain a new mastery to be able to teleport in the same way.
Yeah, and again, it's not like the Wallows were a completely new system that they put in, because they've just basically borrowed it from the Scrit tunnels and then just put it behind a mastery wall.
Yeah.
So.
Which, ironically, there are going to be Scrit on the Ring of Fire.
I know. Now, this I found a bit. Well, I mean, it's kind of weird to me. It's a little bit weird.
It's really weird.
I know that up in Brisbane, the Scrit that are up there, if you do personal story in the, if you study I think it's in the order lines, when you study one of the races, you get to interact with Scrit, and they've got destroyers coming up into their little hive.
Scrit is one of the races you can help as either vigil or priority person, I think.
Right. So, and they never really explained why those destroyers were looking for the Scrit. So if they were to link that and kind of explain it, then maybe I'll buy into it. But right now I'm just kind of going, what?
Well, as far as I'm aware, there's not, at least in Guild Wars 1, there was never any destroyer activity on the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire actually doesn't have many connections to Primordius at all. Like, it's literally its only connection is, I'm fire, and that's fire.
Right.
So we should both be fire.
But I mean, if Primordius is moving, maybe the destroyers are going down. I don't know, man. I'm trying to, think around this and through it. I'm just throwing things at the wall.
I just don't know why there would be Scrit there, because the Ring of Fire Islands are supposed to be basically uninhabitable.
Mm-hmm.
Scrit, I don't know, Scrit aren't predators, right? So there's no way that I guess their hive mind thing, they could, hunt in packs and take down hydras,
I guess,
for meat. I don't know. I feel like they couldn't survive there. I feel like it's too harsh an environment, and you have to be a pretty top-of-the-chain predator to pull off getting by there. You need to be a giant hydra or a giant drake. Those are the types of creatures that survive on the Ring of Fire, because they can rip each other to shreds, mm-hmm. and then eat the loser. That's how you live on the Ring of Fire. It's not a fun place to be. So
no,
I don't know why the Scrit are there, other than they're kind of the franchise. Scrit and Quaggan are kind of the franchise mascots at this point.
Yeah, I think probably more Quaggan than even Scrit, I would say.
Yeah. I feel like putting the Scrit in every zone now is kind of like a running joke, though, so I think
I
they
guess
kind of
maybe
feel like they have to
the
do it.
script burglar has to be there for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for the frickin' script burglar event. Because even though I don't think there's a heavy script presence in Bloodstone Fen,
The script
I
burglar is
believe,
there.
yeah, I believe there's a script burglar event.
Yeah.
I can't confirm that 100%, but I think there is.
I can. I just ran into him the other day.
Did you do it? Did
Yeah.
you do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I killed him too. It was awesome.
There's not a significant script presence in Bloodstone Fen though, is there?
Mm-mm.
Besides that? No.
No. So yeah, I guess they have to have a reason for the script burglar to show up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Netco in chat says, I think I read somewhere that you fly across the map and then you can jump down when you want. That would be
that's
really cool.
Yeah. Kind of like a subway system.
Mm-hmm. Now, with the ley line, not the ley line, I'm sorry, the gliding combat skills, number 5 is supposed to let you kind of shoot out. So it would be interesting to see if they would allow those advanced gliding weapon or whatever combat skills to apply to Ring of Fire as well. Because knowing what was in the Ring of Fire in Prophecies, I could see where those skills would come in handy against Hydra, particularly.
Yeah, if you just wanted to get somewhere and not have to
fight,
you know,
get bombed,
not have to fight any of these really difficult mobs, because that's kind of something that Guild Wars 1 had that Guild Wars 2 doesn't really do, is exceptionally difficult monsters on a zone-to-zone basis. Usually trash mobs are trash mobs at Guild Wars 2, no matter where you are, and they're just, you can kill them no matter what, and their mechanics aren't terribly unique. So I'd like to see them kind of step up the trash mob difficulty in Ring of Fire, just because it's that zone. You know,
exactly.
it's that zone that's like, all right, you're going to the Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
You need to put your big boy pants on.
That's exactly.
In this franchise, that's what the Ring of Fire is. So I really hope they deliver in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've never played Guild Wars 1, you don't know what the Ring of Fire is like. I'm going to throw in a link to our stream highlight from the other night, so you can go check that out. And we showed off a lot of the terrain. Now, one of the cool things about the terrain down there, and Aaron was mentioning earlier that it's very barren. It's pretty much just all volcanic rock.
There's no plants there.
No. And one of the things that was one of the characteristic features was these like skull heads, like etched into the mountainsides.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And why?
It's very, so the artwork in Ring of Fire, like the map art with these weird, there's some skull heads, there's like some just creepy like wailing heads that are like piled on top of each other, hewn into the rock. It's very Dante's Inferno like, yes. In its styling, and there's no lore behind it like at all. They're just there for creepy factor, and they do a really good job. So I really hope that those are still a thing on the island. There's a theory that those heads are there as an imprint of the ridiculous amount of souls.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, dead souls that power the Door of Kamali in the Caldera of Abaddon's Mouth. And I think that's a pretty viable theory, seeing as you have this hub of souls, right? And they're tortured souls. Like, they're not well taken care of souls, and so I could see them leaving imprints like this of anguish and torment upon the land. That's a cool concept. Yeah,
it'd be cool if they can, if we do get to see that again, which I'm really hoping that we do. That
and
they
with
would
the
kind
updated, with the better graphics that Guild Wars 2 has versus Guild Wars 1, I really hope they can make them even more disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the enemies that we used to run into we talked about the Hydra, which were mean.
Those are definitely the most notorious and difficult and annoying of the Ring of Fire mobs. Or the Hydras.
Mm-hmm. And then they had the flesh golems, which we talked about on stream, were very looked like a raw meat on.
Yeah, they're creepy looking.
Very creepy looking. I mean,
and I hope like their mouth is kind of just this neck maw thing. Mm-hmm. Like they don't really have a head; they just kind of have a neck and then a 3-pronged maw. It's really weird. They're disturbing.
They're base and their bodies. What always strikes me is that they're just basically the musculoskeletal structure and no skin. So all you see is just raw meat coming at you.
Yep.
Which is not something that we get with the necromancer minion skills in Guild Wars now, the flesh golem, which were a thing
we get it with the
Guild
flesh
Wars 1.
golem. Yeah, the flesh golem has it, but the rest of the minions have been changed quite a bit.
Yeah, they're not really. The flesh golem on a necro, it doesn't have that same kind of level of creep factor that it did in Guild Wars 1 for me.
No.
Like they toned it down. I'm kind of going, all right, tone it back up. Or at least for Ring of Fire, they should tone it back up.
Yeah, I really hope they knock the creature design out of the park, because there will probably be new creatures there too. But if they don't at least bring back some of the creatures from the original game, the player base isn't going to be happy.
Yeah, especially the veterans.
Like, guys, if there aren't hydras on these islands, people are going to riot.
Yeah.
It's very important that there be hydras.
And the hydras, they're kind of like dinosaurs, right? They were like the T-Rex-ish. They just shot fire. I just remember wanting to avoid them at all costs.
Yeah, I think in Mythos, they're traditionally described as like a three-headed dragon or a large three-headed lizard.
Yes.
But the ones in Guild Wars are very similar to like a three-headed dinosaur. And I don't think we have any in the Tyrian mainland. I don't think we have any hydras in Guild Wars 2 at all, which is weird because they were a big thing in the first game. They were in several different areas.
Yeah.
I think they might have actually only been in Ascalon and Ring of Fire, but we might have had them. No,
there were some in the Maguma.
They weren't in Maguma, but they were in the Crystal Desert. The hydras were in the Crystal Desert, Ascalon, and Ring of Fire, and then there were dinosaurs in Maguma.
That's what I'm thinking.
Tarnished Coast.
Yes.
Yeah. So I definitely hope they bring back the hydras. It's important.
Yes. So other things that are going to be coming up in this map, we're getting heart quests again, Aaron.
Yeah, no, I'm not excited.
That's
my reaction to those.
The spin that they're putting on it now is that they're going to be repeatable daily.
If there's anything that could have made me want to do hearts less, it would have been making it so I can never finish them.
But one of the things that I get it, but one of the things that you've been asking for, as other players have, is this ability to have repeatable quests in the game.
No, I have not been asking for repeatable quests.
You liked traditional questing, though. You're always talking about that.
Yeah, you know what traditional questing is? Traditional questing is grabbing a quest, doing it, and then it's done. It's not doing it 4 billion times. I want quests that have a story. You grab a quest, it's a story, you play the story, and then you're done with the quest. I don't want feed farmer gills maggots like 20 times.
So and one of the things that I'm thinking is because they used hearts to add to map completion in Corteria, so if they're repeatable, your heart's never going to fill, or the next day it's going to be empty again, and you're going to have to do it again to fill it up. So are they? I don't see them tying this to map completion.
No, they probably won't. I don't see this being a big hit unless the rewards are really good. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. I'm not gonna, like, the only thing that can make me do these hearts is like a significant amount of map currency or a significant amount of gold.
So the way that go ahead.
Probably going to be map currency.
So, the way that they've worked it, because I can see how they may have been trying to gear us up for this in Bloodstone Fen with the daily Bloodstone Fen achievements that you can go in and get. And those are repeatable.
Yeah,
so
but
could it be something like that, do you think?
But they're related to dynamic events. They're not related to, like, feeding chickens or whatever heart you do with hearts.
See, I don't think that they're going to be of the feeding chicken variety because, as we said, it's an inhospitable land.
They better not be. That's going to be super lame.
So I want them to be kind of epic.
I think it was a terrible decision for them to liken these to hearts when trying to market them, because that's not smart. Nobody likes hearts. Like, I don't know why you would want to use that terminology. I know the article was done by a third party, so that might have been the third party's decision and not ArenaNet's
Right.
to use that terminology. But man, that is, whew, saying, "Hey guys, we're bringing hearts back." Way to shoot yourself in the foot.
Now, Astralaria in chat says, I think the new hearts will work like dynamic events that you decide when you do them.
So why not just keep with the dynamic events? Why do we have to? Why do we have to bring in yet another new system?
Netco says, but is similar. Gather 10 magic in the air or feed 10 chickens. Yeah, that is true. They are similar.
Yeah.
But the rewards from the gather 10 magic feel like they're more rewarding. I mean, because they give you XP that helps you with level up your masteries, which is what we're all doing now since we're all level 80.
Mm-hmm.
And Astralari says because dynamic events have a timer.
I don't know. Unless my prediction is that these repeatable hearts will not be compelling to play. I think the rewards will be semi-decent to where they'll probably be farmable for map currency, but that's probably it. I don't think anyone's going to be like, "Yo, dog, you know what my favorite thing to do is? The new repeatable hearts." Like, I don't think that's going to happen.
See, I would think it'd be good if they were, like you were talking about before, having quests that give you interesting lore. So that if they were repeatable, you'd get a new piece of lore each time you did it. Now, that might be a bit difficult if you're, to sustain, because what happens if you miss a day of logging in to do your repeatable hearts? Are you going to miss a chunk of lore?
No, I don't think they would make you do that. That's a little hardcore.
Yeah. So
I don't know that we'll have any significant story coming out of these repeatable hearts. It doesn't seem like the right venue for it.
I know your enthusiasm right now for this is like.
This is by far the thing I'm least excited about in this match, except for maybe the dragon commas.
I'm gonna be reserving judgment until I see what they do, because I think the replayability, they wouldn't be putting it in if it wasn't going to be making it different / special.
I think
meaningful.
Replayability is going. I don't think replayability just because you can restart something, I don't think that gives it. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I don't think that gives it merit just on the fact that you can do it again. It has to be compelling. You need to want to do it again. Mm-hmm. And so the gameplay is going to have to be really good, and the rewards are going to have to be really good.
Yeah, which is basically I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if somebody does this and they finish it and they're like, "Oh boy, I can't wait to do that again tomorrow,"
Right, yeah.
If that happens, then that means they did some good gameplay with some good rewards. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be tough because I just feel like whatever mechanics they come up with are going to be bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just because they use the heart word.
The heart word, yeah. Blue Jasmine says in chat that unless they make them really fruitful, awesome rewards, I don't see anyone actually seeking them out. And it could be that they will test run the reception of the hearts and lessen or remove them. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, that would be nice, actually. But of course, they only ever let the select few people in the betas for these things.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And of course, I also like how the people who have seen this map, right? The MMORPG.com, and I don't know if they're the only third-party site that got access.
No,
but
there were several others that got access.
Yeah, everybody seems to have liked the map a lot. Mm-hmm. So,
but from like the massively OP article, it didn't seem like they actually had hands-on play time with it. So,
okay, so they just had somebody showcase the map to them?
That's what it seems like.
Okay, so we're pretty much going in blind on the whole repeatable hearts thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to be avoiding them as long as possible, and then I'll play them and see what I think of them. But I'm going in with the lowest possible expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'll like the rest of the map. The rest of the map will be great. I'm not worried about that. The hearts specifically are what I'm going in with low expectations.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone is kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Leechrox, and I hope I didn't screw up your name, Says, if they litter the map with scraps of paper and call it lore again, that would piss me off more than hearts.
Well, I mean,
Since TriTap has a litter problem.
That's the scraps of paper
Bloodstone.
In Bloodstone they have pretty significant lore on them, actually. I mean, it's not the most it is kind of busy work going and getting all of them, but the payoff, I think, is pretty good. If you care about the story, there's a lot of really juicy information in those paper scraps.
Yeah, that give you some insight into what was happening with the white mantle.
I mean, by definition, yes, it is lore.
Right.
But some people aren't going to like the collectathon thing.
Sure.
I'm not a big fan of collectathons. So.
And the thing that they did that I thought was good is that they tied it to achievements, but they didn't make it required for you in order for you to complete the map achievement.
Yeah, they didn't make it required for the meta, and they didn't make the reward anything particularly good, so that you didn't feel like you were missing out if you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Which is a good way to go about it.
Yeah. Leadrock says it seems like that's the only lore they put in now, though. Just use a different medium.
Well, I mean, they're releasing entire living story episodes with these new maps, though, and those are a whole story section.
Now, what I really find
new lore.
I mean, we were not thinking that we would be getting a new map so soon. So this is like 2 episodes, 2 new maps.
Yeah, this is... And now I still wouldn't go as far... Because this is only 2 episodes, right? I still wouldn't go as far as to say, oh, this means we're getting a new map every episode. Because that would require a lot of contrivance in the story, I feel like. So I feel like we're probably, especially if Primordius is migrating over to the Ring of Fire, I feel like we're probably going to spend some time there. We're probably going to be flitting between it and Corteria, because we're going to have to, go talk to the Priory, and then we're going to have to go talk to the Vigil and all that crap.
Yeah.
That's gonna be in stories forever. It's never going away.
Well, I think the main dude who's going to have the most information for us is going to be Ogden again.
Yeah, we're always gonna have to go back to the Priory, guys. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, it's certainly possible that we could get a new map every episode, but I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, I'm not banking on that either.
If we were 5 episodes in and we got a map every time, I'd be like, all right, we're probably gonna get one with the next 3 as well.
Yeah. I just found it interesting that we were getting a new one so soon. I wasn't expecting one for like another couple episodes, even to like next.
It makes you wonder how many they've got in their pocket there that they can just.
Well, I mean, they've got the whole world in their pocket. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it does.
Like, but how many they actually have? How many maps are developed right now, and that they could just toss out? Like, oh, you want the crystal? Oh, there's the Crystal Desert.
Yeah,
boom. Whoa.
You guys want to learn up? Boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want this here?
Yeah, I wonder how many lands that we really want to see are just sitting behind an order, basically.
Right? Yeah. But this does mean, like, for people who already bought Heart of Thorns, this is the only way that you can get Living World content. This is making it feel like, okay, yeah, you had these 4 maps when the game launched, or when the expansion launched, but you know what? Here's a couple more. So I would like to see them continue to fill out the world. Because, Tyria is big. And
also, the quicker we fill out Tyria, the quicker we get to move on to Alona.
Or Cantha.
I
don't think we're going to Cantha anytime soon.
No, listen, we still got a bunch of Tyria to cover.
Exactly.
It's not, we got years of Tyria down the road.
Yeah. So, so some other things that we could be running into down there in the Ring of Fire, there was a Mersat stronghold down there. Back in Guild Wars 1.
Yes.
What do you remember about that? You remember a lot more about this area than I do.
I know that their stronghold on the Ring of Fire has a name. I don't remember what it is. It's like the Obsidian
something, yeah.
Not Obsidian Sanctum, that's the jumping puzzle. But it's something, because they have this outer fortress, and then when you get up to the volcano, to the slopes of the volcano, they have these big rounded walls of obsidian. It's either jade or obsidian, I'm not sure which, but it's like a shimmery stone.
Yeah. black,
And,
which makes sense
yeah,
for lava.
and it's several layers of this wall going into one another, and there's only like one gate that you can go through. It's a very secure compound, and I feel like remnants of it would still be there, even though the Mersat were in the lore. What the lore we have is that the Mersat were destroyed completely on that island by the Titans. So there
Hmm.
shouldn't actually be any Mersat. For people thinking, oh, there's going to be a Mersat city, no, there's probably not going to be any Mersat there at all, um, because they were wiped off the island pretty much by the Titans. But we'll at least probably get to see their stronghold, which is going to be pretty neato. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about. There's no way this stronghold's completely gone. Like it's not gonna happen. It's gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to check that out.
Mm.
This Citadel, was it the Obsidian? No, not Citadel. I'm looking on the wiki right now, the Guild Wars 1 wiki.
Oh, okay.
Um,
You'd probably learn it in. It's in the Abaddon's Mouth mission.
yeah. Um, yeah, what is it called? Door of Kamali. Onyx Gate? Why are we even
Yeah,
like
the
Onyx?
Onyx. The
Totally the wrong stone, but yeah, of black in color, so an Onyx Gate.
I don't know if the Onyx Gate. Yeah, let me see. Yes, the Onyx Gate is what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, that prevents anyone from accessing the Door of Kamali. Yep,
Yep.
it's the Onyx Gate.
I remember having to like kill the guards in front.
Yeah, you get to kill the leader of the Mersat during that mission, Optimus Caliph.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
And
You
wasn't
also
he
get to
like,
kill.
wasn't he one
Yeah,
of the first
he's
ones?
in
For
Guild Wars. The Mersat head honchos were Optimus Caliph, Mercia the Smug, and Lazarus the Dire, who we now have in Guild Wars 2. And we killed Mercia and Optimus, but we never got around to Lazarus, and he got
right.
away. Now we're here.
So a theory that I saw floating around on Reddit, I can't remember if this was this week or last week, was that those anomalies that people are seeing client side, those sad anomalies, that they might
Yeah.
actually be kind of specters of Mersat, souls that are trying to come back, and they haven't really quite returned, so maybe something that Lazarus the Dire will be able to do something to bring them back into full visibility.
It could be. I don't know why they would look like that though.
Yeah,
Because that skin doesn't really.
doesn't look very Mersatish.
No, it doesn't. Because my main beef with it is they're walking on 2 feet, and you'll never find a Mersat walking on 2 feet. So I don't know why the imprinted soul of a Mersat would be humanoid like that, because they float. So
Right.
I don't know if I buy into that particular theory.
Yeah. But I just want to see. I mean, what could they do with Lazarus if the rest of his people are dead?
Well, they're after bloodstones, and there's a bloodstone fragment in the caldera of the volcano.
But I mean, if you're gonna find a way to get the Mersat back, now how many of them are still around? That's my point.
Well, it doesn't. We don't necessarily have to bring them back as a race to make them compelling. Lazarus, in and of himself, is a very compelling and interesting and mysterious character. So I don't think, like, I don't know that we're gonna do like, oh, there's a ritual, and we'll get the Mersat. Like, I don't know if we're gonna do that. I mean, Guild Wars is kind of notorious, especially in the personal story, for being like, hey guys, there's this ritual I know of that'll fix everything, right?
Right.
Like, that's a huge thing that always happens in Guild Wars too, but I think they're drifting away from cliche storytelling like that, so I don't think re-upping the Mersat, if the Mersat returning happens, I don't think it's going to be on the Ring of Fire. I think it would be
elsewhere.
I think it would be north of Kryta.
Okay. So I mean, we know that the Door of Kamali is down there.
Yeah.
What could what do you think we could get out of that?
Well, the Door of Kamali leads to the Realm of Torment, specifically the Foundry of Failed Creations, which is one of the 4 realms of the Domain of Anguish, which is a sub-realm in the Realm of Torment. And the Realm of Torment is currently occupied by Cormyr, the human goddess of truth,
Right.
Or not, maybe not currently, but it was circa Guild Wars 1, and we don't really know what's going on with the gods and their realms. Like, if they left Tyria, but we don't really know if they're still hanging out in their realms or not, which are elsewhere in the Mist. But theoretically, the Realm of Torment has been transformed quite a bit by Cormyr's influence and should be completely different from what it was in Guild Wars 1. So I don't know that we'll be able to go through the Door of Kamali, because that's like, that'd be a huge deal. If we could just, they're like, oh guys, by the way, the Realm of Torment is in this patch. Like, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Right. Yeah.
I think the Ring of Fire is a big enough undertaking. So the Door of Kamali will probably stay closed, but I'd like to be able to at least go to it and see, because it's this really extravagant like dome of magic, of magical seals. It's a really cool looking thing in Guild Wars 1, and I'd love to see how it looks in Guild Wars 2, so I hope we get to go to it. But I don't think we'll be able to go through the Door of Kamali yet.
That's a good caveat. The thing that keeps niggling at me is that we've killed these 2 dragons. They've expended a lot of magic into the world. We know that magic is going a little cray-cray because these 2 dragons died, and now, of course, the Bloodstone exploded. So, what are the effects going to be? If Primordus is moving, he's moving for a reason, right? We said the Bloodstone. So, has more magic gone down into the Ring of Fire? I think the answer is probably yes.
I mean, it could be the ley lines. Could also be overloaded with an oversaturation of magic with the abrupt death of 2 dragons so close together. And like we talked about before, there's probably going to be another ley line hub in on the Ring of Fire. So plus the Ring of Fire is just a hive of magical energy even without a ley line hub, because the door and because of the Bloodstone. Like, those are two hugely magical things in one place. So it's kind of a no-brainer that it would attract an Elder Dragon.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that they went into this tangent of, oh guys, maybe we should kill the Elder Dragons in season 2, and they haven't really come back to that at all.
Yeah,
and I've been waiting for them to come back to it.
I'm kind of thinking that the overload of magic might impact the Door of Kamali in some way, because it's this magical seal, and it's holding the Realm of Torment back in a way, in a sense.
But what's their?
But will it be able to hold? If there's too much magic.
What would be the point of us going to the Realm of Torment, though?
Expansion?
I mean, what I would argue is, what if the Realm of Torment is... What if we see it as a place to put the dragons?
That's interesting.
So what if we want to open the Door of Kamali and put Primordus through it and leave him to rot in whatever state the Foundry of Failed Creations is in now? That could be, the Door of Kamali could be what we use to defeat Primordus, whether it be to open it and force him through it, or to open it and use the thousands of souls that would be released in the process to somehow damage him. I don't know. It's wow, we went down a deep rabbit hole.
We did. It's okay. We do these things all the time, but I mean, it's just bypass. Latrock says, bypass the war in Alona and come in the back door through the Chantry of Secrets.
Yeah, it's doable. It would actually be, because you can enter the Domain of Anguish through the Chantry of Secrets, but I think what would happen is we would come through at the Mouth of Torment in the Desolation, because that's where an actual portal to the Realm of Torment exists.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's a way, that you're right, that is a way into Alona. That doesn't involve going past Kralkatorrik. That's actually a pretty interesting theory that I never thought about.
Yeah.
We could go from the Door of Kamali through to the Mouth of Torment, and then we're in the Desolation, and we just flanked Kralkatorrik. Essentially, that's kind of cool, actually.
And then if
that could be, so if we defeated Primordus, we could then use the Ring of Fire as a launching pad for an assault against Kralkatorrik.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's an interesting theory. I like that one.
Yeah.
What other lore do we got down there? I've got in my notes here, or in our notes here. So Hothan and Ritlock, which is something that we talked about a little bit on the stream the other night. Now, Sohathen, the last known location before Ritlock got Sohathen was that it was on the Ring of Fire, because in the final mission for Prophecies, we had to defeat Prince Rurik.
We had to defeat Undead Prince Rurik, and he has his sword.
And he had his sword.
And for whatever dumb reason, we just left it there.
Yeah.
But, well, we had to defeat Rurik, and Sohathen's last known resting place was on the Ring of Fire. Same with the Scepter of Ore. Those things were both last seen on the Ring of Fire. But with the Scepter, as we saw in the cutscene on Tuesday, Sandra, because we played the mission in our stream, the Scepter actually fades away when it's on the island. So you can't definitively say the Scepter of Ore's last place, its last known location was the Ring of Fire, but that's dubious. But the sword was definitely left on the Ring of Fire, like without a doubt.
Now, the thing that I'm remembering a cinematic that showed Livia with the Scepter of Ore. Was that at the end of Ire of the North?
Yeah, it's the kind of movement of the world cinematic at the end of Eye of the North. And that
location was never really revealed. So if it and Eye of the North came after Prophecies.
Well, if you watch that cutscene, when she finds the scepter, she's not on the Ring of Fire.
No.
It's a very different location from what I remember. It's like kind of a green lush location that she finds the scepter in. I don't know if they mean anything by that. They've never really elaborated on much of the stuff in that cutscene. So I'm interested to see if they decide to tie the scepter in here or if not.
Astralaria in chat says Ogden's Benediction.
Yeah, that's the name of that cutscene. Keep in mind there's the potential that there are still Titans in the Foundry of Failed Creations too. So if we open the door of Kamali, Titans could come again. Because when you go to the Realm of Torment in Nightfall, there are still Titans there.
Yes.
And that's taking place several years after the conclusion of the events of Prophecies. So who knows if Cormyr eradicated the Titans or simply changed them to serve her purpose. But Titans are definitely not extinct.
And they're not. They weren't fun to fight.
No. I'd love to see them rendered in Guild Wars too, though. That'd be pretty cool.
I'm trying to think what else. Gosh, our hour's almost up here.
Yeah, with the sword and Rurik, a lot of people think that Ritlock would have had to go to the Ring of Fire to get it. A lot of people also think that Livia could have picked it up and somehow he could have bartered it off of her or won it off of her or something like that. Because she might not have found the Scepter of Ore on the Ring of Fire. It's pretty likely that she would have gone there to start her search for the Scepter of Ore.
Yeah.
So Livia is someone who could have brought the sword back to the mainland.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we're going to get more of Ritlock's shady story that we still don't know anything about. What
wouldn't
happened.
That be great?
If we can figure out, hey man, where were you? What was going on in the mists?
If they could finish up that cliffhanger that they left off in the middle of season 2 of the Living World and haven't elaborated on in an expansion. Like, I don't know, that was insane to me that they didn't go over that in Heart of Thorns.
I mean, and the thing with, if you've got portals or areas where you can connect with the mists down in the Ring of Fire, and you've got areas that connect over to Alona. I don't know, I just keep remembering Raza, which is one of the things that you talked about in one of your articles last year in the run-up to Heart of Thorns, that perhaps Raza was one of the people that Ritlock hooked up with. And just that we know that Raza, we get him as a hero after you complete quest in Nightfall, after beating the campaign. So I don't know, I'm trying to connect dots here.
Well, the thing about Raza is and they've never said anything about this, but I'm almost 100% certain that they had the idea that Raza was their original incarnation for their idea of the Revenant class. Yeah. And they just weren't able to realize what they wanted to do with it in the Guild Wars 1 engine. And so we got Raza, which was a hero you could switch the profession of at will.
Yep.
and now we have the fine tune and what I believe to be the final incarnation of that in the Revenant in Guild Wars 2. So that's kind of the connection I draw between those two things. There's no real evidence that suggests that Raza and Ritlock have ever had any interaction in the Mist, but there's no evidence of what Ritlock's interactions were at all in the Mist.
Exactly. So
besides the fact that his armor could be obsidian armor that would come from the Fisher of Woe, that's really the only pot, because you know how his armor looks like really shardy and shimmery kind of.
Yes.
So some people have thought that that could be obsidian armor from the Fisher of Woe, but I don't think they'd go in that direction. So I think it's just supposed to be some cool Mist armor.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see if they pick up the Ritlock storyline as well.
That's it, exactly. I think they kind of need to.
Yeah.
Soon.
It's about
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know. I don't know what else we can theorize here.
I mean, we're running out of time, to be honest.
This is true.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we went over most of the lore.
Yeah.
The lore theories.
I think just generally we're just excited. we're getting the Ring of Fire again. And I don't know. So
yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it.
So I think that's a good place to wrap up for today. So yeah, if you are tuning in, we are here every Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. GMT for the GuildMag podcast. Aaron and I both stream on the channel, typically Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Although I've been doing it just when I can lately.
Yeah.
I've had this 2-month run of Wednesdays always being busy for me.
Yeah.
But generally I try to make it happen on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, this week you streamed on Monday, I think it was.
Yep.
So we do publish our stream schedule just below us here on the channel, and we update that every week. We also put that out on our social media channels, so you can follow us here on Twitch. Give us a follow on our social media. That's at GuildMag on Twitter and Facebook.com/GuildMag. Yeah, and we'll be streaming some more things. I don't know that we'll be streaming more Ring of Fire, but you never know. We get a little crazy and nostalgic. We might need it to tide us over.
We'll probably do a stream of the next Living World episode.
For sure. Yeah, we were already talking about that we're gonna do the next episode blind again, because that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tune in. Thank you for those of you who joined us live today. Our VOD will be up on our YouTube channel in a day or so, and we'll have the audio and the show notes up on our website guildmag.com. And you can, if you follow us on iTunes, we're also on Google Play. You can get the podcast onto your little podcast apps that way. All right, and we'll have a little post show for those of you who are tuning in live, but for the rest of you, we will see you next time. Bye.